Well, hey everybody. Here I am in a different bed, in a different room. How did I get here? What's going on? This isn't the bed that you normally see me in. This isn't the room you normally see me in. Well, uh, the price you pay for being a gigolo is all I can say. Just like Rico Suave put it back in 1991, I believe it was. But what I wanted to talk about today was something that occurred to me actually when I saw this interesting video where somebody was claiming something that I cannot verify personally, but it seems very eminently plausible to me. Um, this this person, and I'll link to this video if I possibly can. It's something that I found on Instagram. So I'm pretty boomer brained when it comes to technology. So I'll do the best I can, seeing if I can link it in a way that y'all can watch it. But in this link in this video, this guy who's Russian says that in Russia last year, and this is a few years ago, so I think this was in 2018. In the year 2018, there were like something like 300 people who wound up getting arrested for what they put on their social media platform, something they wrote on their social media platform. And he claimed that in Great Britain, in the UK, in the wild, wild west, in the free world, of which the UK is supposedly a part, that number was astronomically higher. That there were over 3,000 cases of people getting arrested for things that they put on their social media, and that got me to thinking because you know there's pretty much there the way that things are framed by Western imperialists, contemporary Western imperialists, like the ones who want to send troops to Ukraine or to Taiwan or whatever, who just are spoiling for a fight somewhere in the world. There still are people like that. We thought we'd gotten rid of them a few years ago with the neocons, but now the neo-libs, they're not too much different. They're not really any better. But these kinds of people, claim things about the despotism of the East as opposed to the West, where we have democracy. And because there's democracy, that means we're free. Well, not really. But I was thinking to myself when I was watching this video that I bet those instances of people getting arrested for things they wrote on social media. Of course, I remember back in 2020, one of the many outrages to come out of Australia was that there was a pregnant woman who was writing about wanting to arrange a time for people to get together to protest the criminal and tyrannical and draconian lockdown that was going on. So she put that out on Facebook, and then the police came and arrested her. They took her away in handcuffs, this pregnant woman, for something that she wrote about wanting the freedom to assemble on Facebook. That was in Australia. This guy was talking about the UK, and this was before all of the kooky and crazy events of 2020. So we're just talking like standard variety racism, racial slurs. I don't know. Insulting a black football player and then having to go to prison for for 2 weeks. Being misogynistic, being homophobic. These are the kind of things that people get arrested and fined or thrown in jail for. In England and in other places across the Western world, the United States being maybe the sole exception to that rule. Although, of course, in the United States, if you say the wrong thing, if you believe the wrong thing, which is to say the right thing, if you believe the right thing, which is the wrong thing from their perspective. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil, as Anakin Skywalker put it. Then they don't throw you in jail, they don't fine you, they don't arrest you, but they do find ways to destroy your life. So, they dox you, they make ensured that you're unemployable, and all these other kinds of familiar tactics. But let's just stick to the task at hand. Let's stick to UK versus Russia in this particular situation. And this case hasn't, what this guy was claiming hasn't been verified, but I find it believable. But then when I was really, that got me to thinking about something else, which is that I bet anything that the things that people get fined or arrested for on social media in places like Russia or China, and don't get me wrong, I am pro free speech. I think I am appalled at the idea of anyone ever getting arrested for expressing a point of view on social media. The only exceptions to that would be if somebody's life is being threatened or something like that. That doesn't fall under the purview of freedom of speech, but just simply saying, oh, that blankety blank, I hope he dies, or whatever, or women suck, or gays are so gay, or whatever. Stuff like that. That's obviously not under the rubric of assault and battery, or making direct violent threats, not just creating an atmosphere of hostility. All this stupid verbiage that they use to justify their tyranny. But anyway, my point. I bet that the things that people get fined and arrested for on social media in places like Russia and China is antisocial expressions of opinion. I bet that people there get in trouble for saying things that the state believes are to the detriment of the body politic, that the state believes are to the detriment of the people, either of Russia or of China. So getting on and saying something like China's got a reprehensible record against the Uyghurs, or China needs to leave Hong Kong alone, or China needs to leave Taiwan alone. People will get in trouble for expressing those kinds of beliefs in China, but the idea behind apprehending people who say those kinds of things is this kind of sentiment is not good to have out there, because it doesn't contribute to a harmonious state. And the idea is anyway that they want to represent the good of the people and do what is good by the Han lineage, which is the primary ethnicity in China. So And similarly in Russia, the recent things, the laws that they've passed in Russia, the laws against Russian children being adopted in the West, the laws against LGBT propaganda being used against or being communicated to minors. These kinds of things are thought of as, antisocial or or putting a stop to trends that are bad, trends that need to be nipped in the bud for the sake of the body politic. You don't want our good Russian children, our own children, the children of our extended family of Russia, to be adopted out to a place like the West or America, where they might end up getting trafficked, where that's unfortunately something that goes on with some regularity. And there's even things like in China. This doesn't really necessarily relate to social media or what's said on social media, but in China, I remember hearing in the past year or so, the Chinese government decided that they weren't going to feature K-pop guys anymore, because K-pop guys were too effeminate, and they wanted to encourage masculinity in Chinese men, and they wanted to show representatives of masculinity. So again, these can be seen. These are tyrannical measures to ban things, to arrest people for saying, for expressing certain sentiments here or there or whatever. But the idea behind them all is that this is a way of restoring social cohesion and getting rid of antisocial elements out there, which tend to do a violence, they would say, to the harmonious nature of society. But in the West, you get in trouble for being pro-social. In the West, if you say something like, you are the sex that you were born, or if you have a penis, you're a man. If you have a penis and wear a dress, you're still a man. Marriage is between a man and a woman. If you say these kinds of things, if you hold to these kinds of ideas, that is to say, traditional, reasonable, sensible ideas that any healthy society will hold to, you get in trouble for saying those kinds of things. You get called racist, sexist, and homophobic. Things have not always been this way in the West. Of course, we're talking long before social media, but I made the case in a prior video that before the end of the Cold War, there wasn't this nonstop assault on normalcy that we have now. There wasn't this constant effort to redefine normalcy and to attack the traditional. In the 80s, you had sitcoms like Family Ties, Growing Pains, and other similar shows. All white families, healthy families. Every character is white. Even every minor character is white. It wasn't a big deal. Nobody cared. Nobody complained, because it was normal. It was normal in the West. That was the which isn't to say there weren't other races in the West, and that wasn't to say that other races weren't represented on television or in other media. But there was nothing wrong with having a show that was just about a white family, in an exclusively white neighborhood. It was just that was normal. The people of a particular type would associate with one another. You didn't have to have every other person be exotic. You didn't have to have every other couple be a gay couple. But that became the norm. That increasingly became the norm after the Cold War ended. And that's a whole different ball of wax, of course. But my main thing here, the main point that I'm trying to emphasize here is, and it's what tripped my mind when I watched this video, is that the things you get in trouble for saying in the West are things that generally would be thought of as normal, healthy, reasonable, sensible, pro-social, things that contribute to the harmony of society, saying that masculinity is good, saying that femininity is good, saying that families are good. You just can't, and that a family, the best kind of family is one that has a mother and a father. And even if and a lot of children, 3 or 4 children. I mean, wow. That was the deal with Family Ties and Growing Pains, I think, and other shows like it. So we have this upside down kind of tyranny in the West. That's where war is waged by the elites against the natives, against the regular people who are historically Western. Whereas in the East, whatever tyranny there is, and I do believe there is tyranny. I mean, I know places like China and Russia have, a long history of despotism of one kind or another. But there, at least in those two countries, whatever despotism is still current, is still going on. It's at least being justified in the sense that it's they're cracking down on people who are saying things that are bad for society. Here, the authorities crack down on you if you say things that are good for society. If you encourage a healthier society, if you encourage healthier living, that perversity not be celebrated over normalcy. If you dare say any such thing, then they come down on you hard, which shows you what they're up to here in the West. I don't want to live under any despot anywhere. I don't want to live under any tyrant anywhere. But I can see how the tyrants in the East are at least tyrannizing for the sake of out of a desire to serve the people in the way that they think is best. Whereas in the West, they are doing the opposite. They're coming down on us for when we do or say the right thing, and they're applauding us and appointing us to higher positions, promoting us if we hold to the increasingly insane ideologies that are being peddled and promoted from on high. And that's the difference between the East and the West today. Just a thought. Am I wrong? Leave your thoughts below. Thanks for watching.